Good morning, guys. So Bitcoin's in its relief rally phase. So as you can see from the trades that were shared during the week, we kind of had a nice short going. We had a long that failed, nice short going, and the bugger didn't quite go into my entry zone, which is frustrating and pushing up to a resistance zone. So I'm going to be adding to some more shorts at the moment. And the argument is that I'm betting that this little relief that we have from 93 all the way to 98 is going to be short-lived, and then we're going to go see our lower low. So you guys want to know a little bit more, stay tuned. I'll be sharing a little bit more of that information. For those tuning in live, let me know what you're trading. Let's maybe see if I should bring in a second coin in the morning when I do these kind of streams. Morning, Renee. Morning, Stanku. Thanks for joining in live. Everybody else, let me know. Say hi. Let's get the chat buzzing, and I'll get charting for you guys. So let's have a look at the bigger picture. So what do we have? Bitcoin now is sitting at 96,750, and I think the big thing is, and I tend to leave. Hello, Baldy. I tend to leave the TA on screen for you guys, so you can always just keep track of what was said. I think what is valuable is let's take away a little bit of the trends. So we'll leave the trade setups that I shared. Okay, and then let's look at support and resistance, because I think that's the significant first thing that we need to define for our relief rally. Okay, no. So relief rally means we're going to bounce at lows and we're going to reject at resistance or support that was lost. So in order to define where that critical support is actually very simple, we take a line. You can clearly see that at around 99, thereabout, between those levels, there is a significant amount of support resistance, or a lot of, as I tend to like to say, a lot of opinions in the market, whether this whole range between 106 and 91 is a fair valuation for BTC. And as you know, with any negotiation, Peter Norwood, thanks for joining. If I were to say to you, Peter, sell me something and give me a price, we will tend to, you'll wait for my counter offer. And hopefully, if we can meet halfway, we should shake on a good deal. And if my counter offer is so outlandish, you would immediately say, no, thanks, because you know that where my mind is halfway between where you said and I said, Peter. It's typically how we negotiate. So if that is true for a one-on-one, peer-to-peer negotiation, the same will be true for Bitcoin at 100K at the moment. People are negotiating with each other. Some are saying, no, this is worth more. Some are saying, no, this is worth less. And when the buying happens is at the middle, because that's when the hand is being shaken. So typically that then becomes resistance and support. And only once that level gets broken and new highs come in or new lows come in, that's when we start a new trend, which means we throw the rule book out, everybody's uncertain, and the market kind of runs in a different direction. So there you have it. And that is what support and resistance is in the end of the day. Okay, so if I'm saying relief rally, I'm saying that, okay, we're in a situation where those that were bidding for Bitcoin at a better price, they're at a stage where their deals, their counter offers are running out, because they all know that 98 is at the moment, since November last year up till now, a fair market value. Now, Peter, I want to ask you again, while I have you on the stream here, you don't want to pay fair price for Bitcoin? Nobody wants to pay fair price for any altcoin. We all want to buy low. We want to buy the bargain, and then we want to try and sell to some other poor idiot the deal of a century, which is actually the marked up phase. Okay, so that's the area that you kind of need to keep your eye on. So anything below 98, that's where you need to start getting out or start shorting the market. There's two ways you can do this, okay? Getting out meaning you need to sell some of your BTC. So if you do that and you sell Bitcoin, you're now over. I'm done, I'm out. But if you don't want to sell your Bitcoin because you've got a long-term goal, what you can do is you can hedge. So you can open a short on leverage. Okay, I use Bybit for that. I also use Bloven for that. So if you guys want to support the content, what you can do is just open an account with one of those links in the video description. And then later on, I'll show you in the Discord what you can do so you can actually join my trade group for free. Simple as that. Okay. So that's the whole idea around this. So we've got this critical resistance area. Now, what else do I want to see when we get there? Well, simple. if we look at those levels there, you can clearly see that in the RSI, there's certain points where there's significant pivots. Now, what is a pivot? It's basically a big directional change within the market. Okay. And these high points, these extremes, are what we use to kind of see whether the market is unfavorable. So if I bring you back to that analogy that I just said about shaking hands between a point, okay? The pivot is that extreme, is the initial offer between you and the seller you're talking to, okay? And when, let's say now there's 10 people, one guy decides to pay more than your initial offer, but the other 9 is still reluctant, that gets shown in the RSI by going lower when price is going higher, okay? But if everybody pays, the RSI and price goes higher, and then there's no divergence, and the same for the bottom. And that same is for hidden and strong and all the different divergences. It's based on that idea, that principle. So if you learn to read the RSI, it's basically you just trying to see how the negotiations are going, and then you want to trade what you think the outcome of the negotiation will be. Okay, so if that is the case, what do I want to see? Well, typically, if we're already in a trend that is bearish. Now, remember, this is the 4-hour swing time frame. So I'm in a bearish trend at the moment, and you can clearly see that because if I draw trend lines like this, there's a nice little simple channel. So there's many ways to skin a cat. You can use a channel, you can use trend lines, you can use whatever you want to do, but you can clearly see that we're making lower lows and lower highs, okay, trending bearish. So the argument is I need to see that these pivots, the last local highs that we had, okay, I want to see price stay below these local highs, okay? So you can use those, but the most prominent ones are those that I've marked out on the RSI. So I want to see price stay below these local highs, but the RSI go above it, meaning that there's hidden bearish divergence, meaning that there is a few suckers buying the top, taking the deal, not knowing that the entire market sentiment is opposing that price, okay? And that's hidden bearish divergence. Now, you always weight hidden bearish divergence over anything else, strong bullish or whatever the case might be, because it's a continuation of the trend. And the trader rule number 1, always treat the trend as if it's going to last forever. So you just want to be in harmony with the trend. So that's the argument. So once we move into an area where that RSI is making a higher high than that pivot, which we are already doing, price is clearly below that, it means that I need to short again. Okay. And then the simplest trick that I use from that point is I take the high to the low. I'm going to ignore that low. I'm going to use this low. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to use my Strat 4 strategy. And there is the layout or the setup for you. Okay, simple as that. So you want to short between 89,900 and you want to have an invalidation, meaning that if the market pushes past that, it's broken the bearish trend. And then from that point onwards, we might need to think a little bit bullish. And then the targets, how low can things go? So in order to do that, let's quickly zoom out. Let's take away all the moves. And then we can start looking at the last time there was significant bullish demand zones, okay? So what would be a really easy way for you to identify demand zones bullish? Well, look for areas where the RSI went very oversold, okay? Meaning, if you look at any of these lows, this would be a really good low and so forth. We start looking at those lows. Those would be good clues for you to say that that's a time when a lot of buyers entered the market to push price up, okay? So if I want to look for divergence, I need to look for divergence around these pivots, okay? So if I then use this entire structure, you can see that it really becomes hard to identify which one to use because there's so many. So the first thing is, if we move into the zone, I don't want to see price fall below 92, which is why the buy was at 92.9, which we just missed. Okay, and then where's the latest pivot? There. Okay, so let's move that line to that pivot there. And so as long as the RSI can fall below that line, okay, fall below this, which I doubt we'll get because that's a really extreme one, and price stays above it, I remain bullish. So where's my first area of support? So where the buy was would be my first line of support. So I want to try and trade this short to at least there. Now, it's not a really big payer at the moment because it's 1258. But say that support fails, then it opens the door for the higher time frame, the daily and so forth, TP ranges. And that's why when we look at the strategy, TP1 is sitting around 90,700. I'll lift it slightly, okay? TP2, TP3, so that we can get ourselves into a position where, once the market wants to show us that bullish signal again, we can act in it. Okay, so that's everything, guys. 10 minutes of me talking about Bitcoin real quick. I gave you a good area where to short, and I gave you a good understanding of how the market moves. Now, I said a little bit earlier, if you support the content, get a Bybit or a Blowfin account, there's a few advantages. One of those advantages is you get access to my buddy indicator. So the buddy indicator does the hard thinking for you. So this is Bitcoin on the 15-minute, Bybit, okay? And the current setups that it shared with you was you can go short between there. There's that SO2. So let's just use that one, okay? From the trend change, short, sell zone, oops, and there's TP1 for that specific setup. And you're only allowed to act on the setup while it's still in the time frame of the line. So that one entered there. You didn't enter on that wick. You entered there, okay? And then there it gave you another one, but that one didn't quite wick into the buy zone. So that isn't a valid trade. And then this one, nearest makes no difference, one could call is an active one because it kind of touched the line. And if you were entering with spread or something, you would have been in the market there. Okay, so there's two sell zones with two opposing TP zones. So it does the work for you. In addition to this, what the indicator also does is it gives you an idea of whether we're in accumulation, okay? The trend is bullish, when the trend is accumulating, when the trend is distributing, or when the trend is bearish. And it means that it colors the body of the candles for you. You can switch it off if you don't like it by literally just clicking on the override button, and your normal candle lines will come in. It's as simple as that. Now, in the Discord, what I've built for everybody as well is a simple trader guide so that you can use this. So very simple, it explains the Wyckoff process. And then there's a learn more button if you want to learn more about all the various phases. And then from that point onwards, you literally click to what the indicator is telling you. So if we look at where we are now, buddy indicator, I'm just going to switch this on so that we can see what it's saying. Oops. It's dark blue candle bodies. So it's telling us that we're trending bullish for now. Okay. So if that is the case, you can then look and wait for the following setups for your next swing trade. So heading over there, you can say it is turning bullish. Okay. Then I have to say, what am I buying? Am I buying fear, greed, or complacency? Well, the market's running. If there's a little bit of a retrace, the market will be fearful at the moment. If we're breaking out, the market will be greedy. And if we're going sideways, the market will be complacent. There's a little how to use their guide as well. So we're looking at fear, and then it tells you what the trade setups are that you should be using. Okay, and that's as simple as that. So everything that you need to know is in the Discord. So you head over to the Discord. Very simple. You're going to be met with a welcome screen. You just verify that you're human. You go to the navigation channel, which will then appear. Okay, and then you can have either click on the partnerships or the buddy indicator. As simple as that. You can pick your poison. Prime, Bybit, Blowfin. All of them have variant deals that will grant you access to the indicator and as well get you into my private trade group with the trade guide and everything like that. It's as simple as that, guys. At no cost to you, just a little bit of effort. There you have it. Good morning, Mr. Louise. And let's see what else we have. Liesel's here. Uncle Mornay. Lekker Opa. Or uncle. Opa saying it. Just now you're going to say, listen, you're insulting my age here, okay? Uncle Mornay, and that's it. Matty B is also back. He's gone AWOL for forever. I don't know where he went, but he seems to be back on the streams. There's 166 people joining in live. I want to say thank you for all of you guys taking the time, spending a little bit of lifetime with me. This afternoon, we'll be back at normal. I said it's Monday, but I managed to not get to everything. So we're going to be looking at some HODL streams as well. Bitcoin is not sitting at 108,000. So we'll be looking at some of those things. And we will be looking at Cardano, which is now tickled that green, get out because it's bad box for some time now. And so forth. So there's a couple of those things we will look at this. Okay, Renee is also asking if you can look at Pyth this afternoon. Renee, I'll make sure to work that into the content for you. Thanks so much, guys. On Twitter, retweet, share the content if it was helpful. And meet me in the Discord. It's as simple as that. And come join my community. Guys, you have a lovely day. See you later. Cheers.